Être un bon traiteur, c'est être intransigeant sur la qualité. On ne fait du bon qu'avec le meilleur. C'est être impitoyable sur les recettes. Quand c'est bon, il n'y a rien à ajouter, rien à enlever. C'est être irréprochable sur le goût. Il faut prendre du plaisir pour en donner. Voilà, pour être un bon traiteur, il faut être intraitable.
Parfaitement intraitable.
Here we are then for the final race of the weekend for the Ultimate Cup Series European. We are getting ready for the third race of the Hoosier Formula Cup Championship. And we've had some fantastic racing from these single staters. And the 5-minute board is being shown already on the grid. And once again, it is Nano Lopez going to lead the way from Hugh Barter with Dylan Estra in third. We've seen this trio constantly over the weekend, and now it'll be the final race of the weekend once all the cars line up and the formation lap gets underway. Hopefully we'll be able to head down to the grid and speak to Chaz Draycott, who is, I can tell, already heading down to try and speak to some of the drivers. It's a tricky time to try and grab drivers at this point because they don't often want to speak to anybody, and that can be tricky because they are concentrating ahead of the race and keen to get into the zone ahead of the race. So far it's been Nano Lopez who has dominated this race meeting with 2 pole positions, third one now, and picking up 2 wins out of 2 and commanding wins at that, not just winning by a couple of tenths here and there. He won by 9 seconds in the first race and 5.5 seconds in the second race. So can he do the same? I think it's time though to head down to what looks like quite a nice sunny grid at the moment, and Chaz Draycott is standing by.
Thank you very much, Claire. Yeah, it's lovely and sunny around us, but because of the grandstand here, there's a lot of shade here down on the grid. I'm here with Hugh Barter. Hugh, starting second on the grid. I know you're trying to keep in the zone here, so we'll keep this quick. But you've had a pretty strong weekend so far. You're hoping to finally get one over on Nano in this last race, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah. So far, obviously P3 and a P2. There's only one more spot left to secure, so hopefully this is the race. But we'll see what happens.
Are conditions more favourable when it's a bit later in the day like this with these cars, or is it just a case of just take it as it comes?
I think it depends slightly on the balance of your car. This weekend we've been struggling a little bit with ours. It seems to be favourable when it's cold, so if it can cool down a little bit, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Well, they're going to clear the grid now, so any final words from you to the people at home before you get underway?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks very much, Hugh. Cheers.
Well, thank you.
Smashing stuff then. Hugh Barter, let's get off this grid, shall we? And let's get the race underway.
Thanks, Chaz. Thanks for watching. I would think we could get Hugh Barter on a podcast, and that'd be brilliant. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thank you for watching. I mean, he's not wrong, to be fair. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for joining us throughout the whole weekend here at Mugello. We've seen some fantastic racing from all sorts of machinery. You have to say it's one of the best championships to see so many types of machinery out on track, and so much action as well throughout the whole weekend. Today alone we've had 6 races, and this is our final race of the weekend in the Hoosier Formula Cup. And you have to say it's been a really great weekend for racing, great weekend for weather, great weekend for being in Tuscany. I mean, it's just been everything you could ask for. I'm a big fan of Italy, and I'm a big fan of Mugello as a track in general. And at least it's not like it was last year where it tipped it down. So it's been absolutely beautiful this year, and to treat us to some incredible racing, which I am very grateful for. So car number 88 installation lap has been, we haven't got a car number 88, so I think that must be 68. 1 minute board is being shown, but the installation lap under investigation, we'll come back to that. We've had that before, and there was no issue, so let's get the formation lap underway, and we will come back to that. If it was an incident, it would be car number 68, I believe, which is Alain Boucher, but until we see any more confirmation, I will stay away from whatever the installation lap under investigation for Alain Boucher is. So let's have a look at the grid then, shall we, ahead of the final race of the weekend. And as you can see, the sun is just starting to fall behind that grandstand now. A bit darker on the grid, and as Hugh Barter was saying, he would like the temperatures to drop because they feel like their setup hasn't been exactly what they wanted this time round, and they were hoping that it would get a bit cooler out there. It has been warmer maybe than you would think at this time of year in April in Italy, but you never know around this area. And if I looked a week ago, it said it was going to be rain and cold all weekend, and then I looked 2 days before we left, and there was a couple of bits of rain and some sunshine, and then actually we've had beautiful weather with a few bit of clouds here and there now just tucking behind the hills surrounding us, but it has mostly been a really beautiful weekend of racing here in Mugello. And next we go to Portimao, so in about a month's time we will head over to Portugal, to Portimao, which is also one of my favourite circuits on this calendar, before we head to Aragon, and then Magny-Cours, and then we head to Paul Ricard for our season finale, the place that we opened the championship, and we will head back there before the end. So stay with us if you want more racing in Portugal, and head over to any of our social channels on Instagram, on the website, and you can keep up to date with everything from this championship as a whole, and of course Hoosier Formula Cup 2. So how's the grid looking? Well, like I said, it's Nano Lopez there, just heading out of the screen in car number 24, the rookie championship, and looking to take the lead of the championship is Nano Lopez this weekend. Hugh Barter in second, Dylan Estra in third, Aaron Ferrazzano in fourth, Matteo Valente. Oh, and there we see there's going to be another formation lap, I think, because someone there couldn't quite see, it was just at the back of the grid, has locked up and gone tumbling into the gravel. Now, unless they can move that in time for the start of the race, there might be an aborted start here, as in the formation, there'll be another formation lap, but we'll just have to see who that was that slid into the barrier at the end. I think it was around turn 10 or 11. And here we go then. Who is it? Oh, it's a bit of a lock-up. So that would probably be Frederick Boileau, I think. Oh, no, car 33. My apologies. Thierry Mahon, the gentleman driver, has slid into the gravel. So the cars are lining up, and the race director here will make a decision of whether they can move that car. So start has been aborted. I thought that would be the case. So they'll do another formation lap before this happens, and depending on how long it takes for them to remove the car of Thierry Malholm. So here we go then, just running behind Alain Boucher, and he just locks up heading into the right-hander and completely loses control of it, unfortunately. But that shouldn't be too bad, actually, because they're by a marshal stand, so hopefully they'll be able to just wheel Thierry Malon into the little marshal point, and it shouldn't take too long. And then we will get going again in the formation lap. Clock hasn't started, so it will still be, as it stands, a 20-minute race. And the drivers, unfortunately, will all have to wait now for the next information they get told. And I've always been very interested to know what's going through a driver's mind at this point, because they have got into the mind zone. You know, they've got into the headspace. They're ready for those lights to go off. They're ready for anything to happen in a race. And obviously motor racing, as we all know, can be dangerous. You've got to be in the right mindset rather. And you've got to be ready to go racing. So you can come back to the cars now at this point, so engineers can come back and do any last minute checks maybe, or just talk to the driver, explain what's happened, tell them that the start is aborted. They can come back on. As you can see, a few engineers and team personnel heading back on to the start finish straight and onto the grid, and they will wait and see what happens from there. I always wonder if the drivers can hear the commentary at this point as well. Probably not. I don't know if the engines are still on, but I'm always intrigued to know if they can hear me. And if they can, have a good race, guys. It's going to be great. So I'm hearing from Chaz Draycott that everyone can hear me from here to Florence. So it is apparently very loud. I'll move my microphone a little bit further away from my mouth, maybe. Maybe I'm a little bit too loud, but yes, we will wait and see Thierry Malholm, who will be moved from, I think it was turn 11 he went off. No, it probably would have been 13 or 14 actually. It was a lock-up that threw him into the gravel, and there we go. We are getting some sort of indication to clear the grid again, and that's the 3-minute board shown from the marshals at the top left at the start gantry. The 1-minute board rather, sorry. He put it behind the 3-minute board, and I couldn't quite see it. So 1-minute board then being shown. And I would assume here we will do another formation lap. So there is confirmation of the start of the formation lap, but that's hardly surprising to any of us watching, because these cars will always do a formation lap ahead of a race. So we will do the second attempt at a formation lap here in Mugello for the third race of the Hoosier Formula Cup. With Nano Lopez still starting on pole position, and we will now no longer have Thierry Malholm, who was due to start at the back of the grid in 11th, so it will now be Gilles de Pierre with an empty space next to him in his to the front right. We've got many rookies locking out the front row again in Nano Lopez, Hubata, Estra, Ferrazano, Valente, and Solin Amrouche, who starts from 6th. And then the leading car in the gentleman category is Walter Rijkaard in 7th, and then Laurent Vutic in 8th, Frederic Boileau in 9th, Alain Boucher in 10th, and no longer any Thierry Malholm, and Gilles de Pierre in 12th. So they will make their way around once again to the duration of the race has been reduced by 2 minutes. They sometimes do that in terms of if we're losing light or just in general losing too much time. So the race now has gone down to 18 minutes instead. They had a disruption in the first race as well, because we had a safety car out for about half of the race. So always hard when it's a 20-minute race and you lose 2 minutes, but it's still going to have some good racing, I'm sure, from the 12 cars now that will be out on the grid. And then there we go, making their way around to the final corner, turn 15 here at Mugello. and they will line up once again, getting ready for the third race of the Hoosier Formula Cup. So take two. Nano Lopez in line, waiting to lead the way of this pack. And Hugh Barter on the right will be the one to watch, really, in car number 22. But do not discount Dylan Estra, who had a fantastic start off the line in the first race and managed to slot into second place. But it's Nano Lopez who has absolutely dominated this weekend. So, green flag is being picked up by the marshal at the back. We are going to go racing this time. He says it's all good to go at the back. The lights haven't gone on yet. So hang on, we've just got to restart the lights and then we will go racing. Green flag was starting to be shown at the back, but we've had a little delay again as they get the lights on the gantry. This is a long hold for these drivers, and unfortunately it looks like we might have another aborted start here. There seems to be an issue with one of the cars. We're not ready to go. Something has happened. I think the car maybe isn't in the right position. Green flag then from the marshal on the gantries, but I can tell you for free, we will not be starting that race because there are marshals still on the track. Okay. So I think maybe we've started the race here. This is slightly confusing, if I'm honest, to know exactly what is happening. Because the duration of the race, we have stopped again because there's no time ticking down. So I assume we are having an extra formation lap, but there isn't anything on my timing screen to tell me that. I'm just using my eyes. And Chaz has said there is an extra formation lap. So down in the pit lane, they are being told this, but on my screen in front of me, the race is now reduced again by another 2 minutes. So it's 16 minutes now of racing. And the extra formation lap underway. So another formation lap. So there we go. We're going to try again for the third time. Let's hope it's third time lucky. I wasn't sure. Maybe Chaz can see which car that they were tending to. I think it was it was either Solien Amrouche or Laurent Vucic. And I think, actually, I can probably use my eyes to see who it was. And I can't see Solien Amrouche in the... Yeah, because that's Laurent Vucic going past there in the orange livery. So it was Solien Amrouche who had an issue then on the grid. And they come around again to the final corner to line up for the third time today. Well, no, actually more than that. Third time in the last 10 minutes to get this final race underway. And good spotting there from whatever went on from the marshals. Brilliant work, as always, from the marshals here in Mugello. And they spotted there was an issue with Solien Amrouche and quite rightly stopped the race. And she has been removed from the grid. So we are down now to 11 cars with Thierry Malholm and Solien Amrouche not taking part. So there we go. Green flag is at the back. The lights are on. And we are going to go racing for the third time. Here we are, green flag then. And we are underway in Mugello. Nano Lopez leading the way. Has he managed to? It's actually side by side at the moment. Was Nano Lopez with car number 22, which is Hugh Barter. So Hugh Barter trying to take the lead into turn one. Manages to do it there. The right-hander giving him the advantage to take Nano Lopez off the line. One little car there kicking up a bit of dust, but nothing to worry about too much. And it is Hugh Barter who takes the lead here. Nano Lopez not having any of it though. And at the behind them is Dylan Estra also looking to fight here. Car 58 there is Matteo Valente looking to get round Aaron Ferrazzano. But will have to wait at this point. Start is under investigation after all of that, and that's Walter Rijkaard we're watching. But let's have a look at what's going on at the front, I think. And yes, indeed, it is still Hugh Barter, who clearly, speaking to Chaz, has got a new lease of life this time round and managed to get past him into turn 1. And it was a brilliant move and very clean from Hugh Barter, exactly what you would suggest from his type of calibre of racing. And not only that, as we look at Soleil and Rouge. Oh, that's a biggie there. That's at the back, says in the second sector. And I think it looked like I saw Frederick Boileau come through. Turn 9 is where we are seeing the yellow flags. And it means everyone will have to slow down. Hopefully that car will not be beached there and we can get going again. It looked like it was maybe car 85. 95 rather, hang on, I think 95 is joined from the pit lane, that's Soleil and Rouge. So we'll have to see as we come across. Anyway, 14 minutes left on this reduced race. It looks like the green flags are out in sector 2 now, so the spin has been cleared. And Hugh Barter leads the way. No further action on the start. Nano Lopez then chasing down Hugh Barter, and there's only half a second between them. And Dylan Estra falling away from the lead just slightly now, as he's over a second behind. But Hugh Barter is setting the fastest first sector. And the battle for first is between these two. Championship leader Hugh Barter coming into the weekend. Nano Lopez looking to see if he can make a move here. I don't think he can just yet. He's dropped back just slightly and goes a little wide there. And that will give Hugh Barter a little bit of breathing space. Nano Lopez not looking like he's very keen on giving up this win and the pole position as they come round now through the final few parts of this lap and to the final big long sweeping left-hander of turn 15. And it still looks a little windy out there, but Hugh Barter at the moment leading the way from Nano Lopez and Dylan Estra. Dylan Estra's just actually set the fastest middle sector, so he's obviously got a bit of clean air in front of him too. And they're very close here, the top 4. I don't think this is the final part of the story just yet. Fastest lap goes to Hugh Barter then, and a 1:47.5, but Nano Lopez is not far behind. He's only 6/10 behind, which in racing terms is not a lot. You just need to have one mistake here and Hugh Barter will lose the lead. But we are used to seeing Hugh Barter command these races. He absolutely dominated in Paul Ricard, so I would be surprised to see him make any huge mistakes. But obviously temperatures have dropped a little bit out there, because that's what he was saying on the grid to Chaz, that his car isn't set up for these warmer temperatures, or he was struggling with the setup. I don't think they would have set it up wrong for the heat, but I think he said that they were struggling with the heat and would prefer the temperature to drop a bit. So actually now with the cloud cover and the sun ducking behind the hills around us, it'll subsequently cool the track anyway. So 11 minutes left, and that there is Matteo Valente, who is on debut in terms of championship, but not on debut in terms of races in the Hoosier Formula Cup. He raced with us in Paul Ricard as one of our rookies, and it's been brilliant to see new rookies joining us. And he had a strong weekend out in Paul Ricard, a 4th, a 5th, and unfortunately retired last time out, and then finished 6th in the last race, and that's despite picking up a 10-second penalty. So good performance from Matteo Valente. Still out front is Hugh Barter, holding off Nano Lopez as it stands. We'll see if he runs out of laps before he's able to jump him. Matteo Valente then joining us, hopefully, for the rest of the season. Aaron Ferrazzano there, Winfield Racing in 4th at the moment. Another brilliant performance from him. Matteo Valente is just 16 years old, but joining us obviously for 2025, and he's been preparing hard ahead of it. Dylan Estra in 3rd for Formula Motorsport. Still, unfortunately, not able to close the gap in front of him with the Nano Lopez and Hugh Barter. Hugh Barter and Nano Lopez still only a half a second between them. But as you can see there from the graphics, he's over a second behind is Dylan Estra from Nano Lopez. In 2nd place, this is Laurent Vutic, who had a coming together in the 2nd race with Craig McClatchy off the line, so wasn't able to take part in it. But good to see him back out and racing. Finished 5th in the 1st race. So good to see him back out. Is the Swiss racing driver doing a good job. Nano Lopez setting some fastest laps out there. He's closing the gap. Is Nano Lopez now down to 4 tenths, just under 5 tenths, and he is starting to close in on Hugh Barter. He set the fastest lap of a 1:47.1, and that's a 10th faster than Hugh Barter's lap. So are we going to see another change for the lead here? And Nano Lopez definitely not happy about losing pole position to Hugh Barter. Drive-through penalty for car 68 for unsafe, I think, behaviour in the formation lap. So car 68 was Alain Boucher. That could be the braking on the formation lap, which could have caused Thierry Malhomme to end up in the gravel if he did any erratic braking, but that would be pure speculation from me. That's Solian Amrouche. And you can see in the corner as well, Lamo Racing watching by, enjoying, I'm sure, the racing. However, Alain Boucher, car 68, has just had a drive-through penalty, so they're probably not enjoying it so much, Lamo Racing, but Thierry Malhomme not in the race anymore. However, they do still have Solian Amrouche, who we're watching here, and she is currently down in 11th. So not the best day for Lamo Racing, but they have had a busy old weekend, have had Lamo Racing, and Solian Amrouche started from the pit lane, actually, because she had an issue on the grid, and unfortunately finds herself down in 11th place, which is last at the moment. So Walter Reichardt then for Formula Motorsport, currently running in 10th at the moment, and that's Gilles de Pierre just heading out of the screen, round to the final corner here, turn 15, and behind him Walter Reichardt for Formula Motorsport. Laurent Vutic then currently running P6 at the moment, must be probably happy with that one. Alain Boucher, Frederick Boileau rather, in the number 4 behind. He was the runner-up last year in the 13-inch category behind Enzo Richet, and poor Enzo Richet's had a shocker of a weekend through no fault of his own, actually. Alain Boucher for Lamo Racing then, down in 8th. And he's just received a drive-through penalty, so we should see him going through the pit lane in the next 6 minutes. Battle for first then. Actually, Nano Lopez has dropped off the pace a little bit. He's now a second behind Hugh Barter, so Hugh Barter now sets the fastest lap to keep Nano Lopez at bay as they make their way round the final corner and onto the start-finish straight. And Hugh Barter is you feel like he's defending, but he's doing it well because he's just increasing his time. Drive-through penalty then being shown, obviously, for car number 68, which is Alain Boucher, the Lamo racing driver. And he'll have to come in. And, ooh, turn 1 here. Nano Lopez just looking around the inside to see if he can close the gap a little bit more. And actually the gap's now down to 3/10. So in that last lap, somehow Nano Lopez has set a blistering lap and closed the gap by around 7/10. So incredible performance here from Nano Lopez, the speedy Argentinian, once again showing why I keep calling him that, because look at the gap between first and second now. Set a 146.4, and that is significantly faster by a second than Hugh Barter. Drive-through penalty then being served by Alain Boucher, and he will go back out for Lamo Racing. So battle at the front then. Let's keep watching this one, because I feel like a little twitch there from Nano Lopez. And that will cost him a couple of tenths here or there, or even just the half a tenth. It's crazy. The thousandths of a second that is the difference between winning and losing in motorsport is unbelievable. And even just the smallest twitch, and once again there from Nano Lopez, just slightly losing the rear. And I wonder if the tyres are starting to go, but they should have had 4 more laps. Maybe he's been pushing a little bit harder because he's trying to get past Hugh Barter, but there's definitely a few twitches there. And that again is Laurent Vutic, who is currently down in 86, currently down in 6th rather. I looked at his number. Down at 86 would be a tough day at the office, considering there's only 13 cars to start with. Thierry Malhomme did not start the race after locking up on the formation lap, which is why I believe Alain Boucher now has got a drive-through penalty. I believe that maybe he braked a bit too erratically, and probably from no fault of his own. It was probably an absolute innocent mistake, but unfortunately with that, ruined Thierry Malhomme's race. Is my only assumption of why he got a drive-through penalty anyway. So if that is wrong, my apologies, Alan. That is all I saw on my screen. So Hugh Barter and Nano Lopez then. Now the gap is half a second between them. And I think at this point, Nano Lopez might run out of steam. But you have to say he is stuck with Hugh Barter this whole entire race. And Nano Lopez proved that you can win this by 9.5 seconds and 5.5 seconds in race 2, and he has not allowed Hugh Barter to run away with this. He has put the pressure on this entire race to try and get back past the Australian's car, and Winfield Racing will be pleased with this one, I'm sure. 4th win it would be for Hugh Barter in the championship, and Nano Lopez it would be his 2nd win, but still he won't be happy with 2nd place, but it's still good for the championship points, 2 wins and a 2nd place to extend his points haul of the weekend. But he would have wanted 3 in a row really, and had the ideal weekend. Walter Rijkaard then chasing down Gilles de Pierre. It's Laurent Vutic who is leading the gentleman at the moment, but this is for the 3rd place on the podium in class. Gilles de Pierre currently sitting 3rd, and it will be Walter Rijkaard trying to take that away from him. The gap is closed even more again at the front between Hugh Barter and Nano Lopez, and you can see there it's 5 tenths between them, half a second. But I think at this point we're going to start running out of time. Let me see where they are on the track at the moment. This could be very well actually the final lap of the race, because they are currently in turn 7 and we only have a minute left. It's going to be another one of these races that I have to do the maths. Pretty sure this will be the final lap at this point, so we'll have to wait and see, but my maths would say this is the final lap because they are coming around turn 10 and there's only about 30 seconds left on the clock. So final lap then here in the Hoosier Formula Cup, the final lap of the weekend of racing. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've joined us the whole weekend, if you've joined us just for one, a little twitch there again from Nano Lopez. And we appreciate your time and effort of watching us on wherever you're watching us, on YouTube channel, on whatever device that you've decided you would like to watch us. We do appreciate your time, and do make sure you join us in Portimao in a couple of weeks' time for the third round. But for now, all eyes will be on Hugh Barter as he makes his way around the final corner, and with just seconds left on the clock, it's saying final lap now. But I would assume the checkered flag is out, and the checkered flag is out. Crossing the line in then is Hugh Barter, who takes his first win of the weekend, but it is his fourth in the Hoosier Formula Cup overall. So brilliant performance there. Kept under pressure from Nano Lopez right into the end, 3/10 between them, but Hugh Barter manages to hold on and defend hard and take the win, exactly what he needed. Dylan Estra then settling for third place. Another podium for Dylan Estra. Aaron Ferrazzano, another fourth place for him. So close to getting another podium, but unfortunately not there. Yellow flags in turn 9. Not sure what that is for, but I'm sure at the moment that's what the yellow flags in turn 9 are for. The race is over, so I'm not sure who that is. We'll see when we cross the line. But at the moment, it is Matteo Valente. Oh, there it is. It's Alain Boucher, I think. Yes, I believe it is Alain Boucher. And just locks up heavy, gets on the gravel, spins it. A nice little pirouette to get back round, though. Impressive performance there. That would have been fun to be on board. Well, not really, because obviously he dropped it at the final lap, but he already had a drive-through penalty, so he was having a bit of a shocking race for Lamo Racing regardless, unfortunately. But to finish the top drivers that came through, Matteo Valente in 5th, Laurent Vutic is the winner of the gentlemen's in 6th, and Frederic Boileau in 7th, Solian Amrouche in 8th, Walter Reichardt in 9th, and managed to get past Gilles de Pierre in 10th, and Alain Boucher, as we saw at the end there, hasn't made his way around the third part of the sector yet, and finishes in 11th. But this man here will be incredibly pleased with his performance. He held on throughout a grueling few laps. It was 8 laps, and Nano Lopez really put the pressure on Hugh Barter, and he will be, I'm sure, pleased with that performance, because not only that, but it will elevate his championship points, and that's exactly what he needs at this point. And speaking on the grid, he said he hoped that the conditions cooled down a bit because it suited his car a lot more, and I'm assuming that's what's happened. We'll, I'm sure, hear from him. Here we are then, the Hoosier Formula Cup final race of the weekend. Hugh Barter takes the win from Nano Lopez, Dylan Estra in 3rd, Ferrazzano in 4th, Valente in 5th, Vutic in 6th, Boileau in 7th, and Solian Amrouche rounding up the top 8. Walter Reichardt finishes in 9th, 10th is Gilles de Pierre, and after all that, Alain Boucher finishes in P11. So more great racing, of course, in the Hoosier Formula Cup, race 3 of the weekend, and our final race of the weekend also. And what a fantastic time we've had. So I think it's time to hear from our final interview of the weekend too, and it'll be Chaz Draycott down there, I'm sure, speaking to Hugh Barter.
Thank you very much, Claire. Absolutely buzzing to be down here for the final race of the weekend. Well, Hugh, on the grid, you said you needed this position. It was the only one you hadn't claimed yet. You've gone and done it.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it was the start I needed. Due to the aborted start, so I'd say a lot of people were not expecting. These clutches are pretty weak as well. And like you said yourself, there was a lot of shade on the track, so it made it pretty hard to start as well. So, yeah.
What was it like having that much pressure from behind the whole race as well? Because it wasn't quite the clear-cut victory that we've sometimes seen in this category.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of pace over us this weekend, so we definitely need to work on that. But pretty much just focused on my exits as much as I could, and then try not to have to defend by the end of the straight, so yeah.
And it's important, obviously, for you in the championship as well, because Nano came here hoping to take all 3 wins and gain that championship lead back, but you've clung onto it, leaving Mugello. You must be quite confident now for Portimao.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we have a lot of work to do because he had quite a big pace advantage over us, and the only thing that really got me this win today was experience from past races. So yeah, well, we got like a month of work, so we see.
Well, we look forward to seeing it, mate. Any final words before we go? Last interview of the weekend, you've got to do it.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and hope you stay around for next round.
And I bet he hopes he wins more races next time. Hugh, cheers.
Sorry, 3 races.
Yeah, I must be a lucky charm for you. They might invite me back.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't take the credit.
You never know what. We're stuck in the back, mate. You walk down all the way pit lane.
Thanks very much, Hugh. Very well done indeed. And as Claire has alluded to, that is the final interview here of the weekend. And that is the end of the Ultimate Cup Series Europe weekend here at Mugello. It's been a fantastic weekend. I've loved being a part of this. It's been really good fun. So many great cars in different categories. And across the whole weekend, we've seen many different race formats as well. We hope you've all enjoyed the action. And we're going to, I believe, go back to Claire up in the commentary box now for some final words.
Well, look, the final words needed to go to Hugh Barter there. Thanks for watching. Indeed, thanks for watching. There are the highlights.